Picture this: one of India's most celebrated IT powerhouses, an empire employing over 50,000 people, powering Fortune 500 companies across the globe, and held up as a symbol of India's economic rise. 1,000 people, serving global Fortune 500 clients. Then, in a single moment, the empire crumbles. A company once seen as untouchable collapses almost overnight, wiping out billions in investor wealth and shattering the world's confidence in India's corporate governance. This is the story of Satyam, the scandal that is often referred to as India's Enron, a cautionary tale of corporate fraud, weak governance, and the cost of ignoring red flags. In this video, we'll break down what happened, how it happened, who was responsible, and the lessons for today's boardrooms. Let me introduce Satyam Computer Services Limited. Founded in 1987 by B. Ramalinga Raju, the company rose to become India's fourth-largest IT company, listed in both India and the US. Satyam was a shining star in India's IT boom. By 2008, it had over 50,000 employees and global contracts. Investors and employees trusted it completely. In December 2008, Satyam's board approved buying Mehta's Infra and Mehta's Properties, companies run by Raju's family. Investors and analysts asked why an IT services company was buying real estate. Under scrutiny, cracks appeared in Satyam's books. On January 7, 2009, Ramalinga Raju shocked the corporate world with a letter to Satyam's board of directors, admitting that he had been falsifying the company's accounts for years. He described his predicament in haunting words. "It was like riding a tiger. Once on it, I didn't know how to get off without being eaten by it." The fraud techniques involved fake invoices to inflate revenue, non-existent bank balances to show fake cash, understated liabilities, and misuse of company funds. Investors saw shares crash by over 90%, wiping out billions. Over 50,000 employees suddenly saw their futures hanging by a thread, gripped by fear, confusion, and the stigma of working for a company branded as fraudulent. The auditors at PwC India came under fire, accused of gross negligence. The scandal raised a damning question: how could they have signed off on these fabricated accounts year after year without detecting the fraud? The markets echoed the shock. Global investors began to question not just Satyam, but the very credibility of Indian corporate governance. In response, the Indian government swiftly dissolved Satyam's board and installed a team of new independent directors to stabilize the company. Ultimately, Tech Mahindra, a part of the Mahindra Group, one of India's most respected conglomerates, stepped in and acquired a controlling stake. Through a government-supervised bidding process, the Mahindras were seen as credible rescuers with the financial strength and governance reputation needed to restore stability. Under their leadership, the disgraced company was rebranded as Mahindra Satyam, and a few years later it was fully merged into Tech Mahindra, turning a symbol of fraud into a story of revival. Legal action soon followed. Ramalinga Raju, along with his brother and senior executives, was arrested and put on trial. In 2015, a special court convicted them of fraud, forgery, criminal breach of trust, and conspiracy. Raju was sentenced to 7 years in prison, fined Rs 5 crore, and banned from holding any directorship for 20 years. The court also ordered confiscation of his assets to help repay losses. His downfall was as dramatic as his rise. From celebrated entrepreneur to one of India's most infamous fraudsters, PwC, Satyam's statutory auditor, faced serious consequences for its failure to detect the fraud. In 2010, the Central Bureau of Investigation, CBI, arrested 2 PwC India partners, namely S. Gopalakrishnan and Srinivas Talluri, accusing them of certifying Satyam's falsified financial statements. They were charged with criminal conspiracy and fraud for overlooking forged bank statements and inflated revenues. Later, in 2018, the Securities and Exchange Board of India, SEBI, banned PwC from auditing listed companies in India for 2 years and imposed a penalty of Rs 13 crore, holding the firm guilty of negligence and lack of due diligence. The episode badly damaged PwC's credibility in India and forced regulators to rethink the oversight of external auditors. Governance lessons from the Satyam Scandal are board vigilance matters. Independent directors cannot remain passive. They must probe management decision, especially unusual or non-core transactions, and demand clarity. Auditor accountability must be done. Regulators and boards must ensure external auditors act with independence and professional skepticism, not as rubber stamps. Transparency and disclosures are there for a reason. Honest financial reporting is the cornerstone of investor confidence. Without it, even the most successful companies can collapse overnight. Founder control risks is a real thing. Excessive concentration of power in a founder or promoter family invites abuse. Effective checks and balances are essential. Regulatory preparedness is a must in all jurisdictions. Regulators must be equipped to act quickly in crises, dissolving boards, appointing new leadership, and safeguarding stakeholders before damage multiplies. These lessons from Satyam Scandal are not historical footnotes. They are active reminders. For every boardroom today, Satyam remains one of the most notorious corporate scandals in history, still dissected in business schools and governance trainings around the world. It stands as a stark reminder that growth without governance is fragile. In today's era, where ESG, transparency, and accountability dominate boardroom conversations, the lessons of Satyam are as relevant as ever. Scandals like these remind us that true corporate success is measured not only in profits, but in trust, ethics, and accountability. So I leave you with this question. If you were an independent director on Satyam's board in 2008, what would you have done differently? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you found this analysis useful, don't forget to subscribe to Axis with Kauser for more deep dives into governance, leadership, and ethics.